bus, Greyhound, long ride, no food. They used to say, man, what you gonna do? Tell them I don't know. Ain't got nowhere else to go. You do it like that? Yeah. I ain't trying to be like that again. You lose everybody. Family, friends. No money. Nothing to do. Get on in and ride. You know how they do. They hustle backwards. But I can't say nothing. I could have been different. I could have acted better, changed how I did things. But nah, jump on the bus, Greyhound, long ride, no food. They used to say, man, what you gonna do? Tell them I don't know. Ain't got nowhere else to go. You do it like that? Yeah. I ain't trying to be like that again. You lose everybody. Family, friends. No money. Nothing to do. Get on in and ride. You know how they do. They hustle backwards. But I can't say nothing.
Okay. Hello.
That's how I used to work.
It's working? All right. There we go. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is a great event. Turnout's great and love to see the room. We have an amazing sponsorship from XDocs, who is our premier sponsor and someone I'm very excited to have here. We've just launched with them and we're going to be doing great things. They'll be on a panel shortly. We also have a number of other teams we're working with, AWS, Genius Terminal, and also the Paimon team. So thank you all for the sponsorships. And yeah, we'll be kicking off shortly with them in the panel side. I'm Luke. I'm head of BD for BNB and looking forward to introducing everyone that's here and just walking you guys briefly through the agenda. So we have a number of things. We have hackathon winners. We have a couple panels. And we'll get into all of that, and then we'll have a great kind of networking session. So I know a lot of you guys are outside right now. You'll be back there networking with all the great folks afterwards as well. So a little bit about BNB. We are trying to bring on the next billion Web3 users. And what that means is how do we tap into distribution, right? And I think distribution is sort of the key that differentiates BNB from a lot of the other chains out there. And we're actively doing a lot of programs to help assist that and make it possible. Now, BNB is comprised of a number of three things. We have BSC, or Smart Chain, OPBNB, and Greenfield. Now, it's very community driven. All three of these pillars interact. But today, for the focus, we'll focus on BSC, the main chain. And this kind of leads us into the next thing. is sort of showing our distribution. A little bit of it's getting cut off here, but bear with us. Right here kind of showcases what I mean by that distribution that I was alluding to earlier, right? We have over 800 million unique wallets on BNB Chain, and this is across all different things. We see stablecoin market cap is over 18 billion. That's across plenty of stablecoins that work with and interact with the DeFi ecosystem today. We have over 1,100 apps deployed and 128 billion that has come through the ecosystem. This all kind of builds into the verticals that we have, right? And what we're focusing on today. As we're evolving and growing, it's become more and more important to lean in where we think the future growth is. And we have identified the 6 pillars that we think here are going to be the future. AI, RWAs, stablecoins and payments, trading, DeFi, and privacy. Now we'll dive into that a little bit more here. DeFi is, we are the second chain right behind Ethereum, so the leading chain behind Ethereum on DeFi, as I've just checked today. So we're 5.9 billion, and this is across all the apps, right? We're working with Listed DAO, Venus Pancake, Uniswap, just a number of great apps. And this means that like when you have future utility tokens, for example, when we're working with stocks, it is composable and it can be used across a number of these DeFi apps. Trading is something we're always very proud of. We have 30 million monthly volumes on trading side. And a lot of this is within the Pancake swaps, the Genius terminals, the apps that are facilitating transactions day to day. And kind of what that means is that abundance of trading gives RWAs a great home to shine. We're also the leading chain behind Ethereum on the RWA side. We're at 3.8 billion in tokenized assets, and our holder count is actually 44,000. That means 44,000 people are holding RWAs across the world. And we're really proud of that because it gives diversity of investments to many folks that didn't have it before, right? You're able to access developed markets, you're able to access emerging markets, and all the different sorts. So bridges both gaps, and something that's very useful for the user base. Stablecoin side, we're at 18.3 billion, and this kind of is a vast list of ones that work within our ecosystem. We're always looking for more. We're actually subsidizing transfers, and we have a zero fee policy sort of within that ecosystem. So that means people can transfer stablecoins from one to another. And it's really actually shown very well in some of our metrics. We see that our percentage of global stablecoin transaction count is 40%. So we're dominating that, and it's the strongest chain for that transaction count. See BNB right in the middle there, and it's phenomenal. That means users, retail folks are transferring payments back home. They're transferring payments to merchants, things like that, to enable this idea of like interacting everything on chain. And then finally, AI is one of the things that we're actually doing a lot with. Liberty Financial launched their World Claw the other day. It was a great announcement, and we've been seeing a lot of great partnerships come out of the AI agent space. But essentially, they'll do things on chain, right? They'll allow payments flows. They'll allow being able to interact with autonomous agents on chain. And we have 120,000 AI agents leading across all the categories between the other chains. So finally, just a little bit about what we've been seeing across the infra side. These are kind of the token standards that are used, the SDKs that we're developing. This isn't fueling, I would say, the institutional growth, fueling the way AI interacts with BNB. And finally here, we're doing a lot of things on the builder support side. We have YZ Labs has a builder fund of $1 billion that they're backing early stage projects, looking to take bets within projects that work with BNB and also ones that are within crypto in general. We also have the MVB Builders season, which is another flagship accelerator program that we're working on. So invite you guys to connect. Please take a look throughout all our socials. We have a number of great things we're working on, announcements that are coming up ahead of us. And looking forward to welcoming our panelists up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. One second.
Testing.
Hello?
Sorry, just remember that you're being live streamed and recorded, so look alive when you're not speaking, because everything's on camera. No. And yeah, keep your eye on the clock as well.
Okay.
I can give you a signal.
Sure.
When there's like 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Welcome to our first panel. We're really excited to have some of these guys. We're very close partners and working with a number of them. If we want to just maybe go around the room, do a quick introduction. Let's start with you, Val.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here. My name is Val Guy. I'm the general manager of XDocs. XDocs is tokenized equities, one-to-one backed by the underlying equity, tradable 24/7.
Hi, my name is Gu Yan. I'm the founder and the CEO of Payment Finance. Thank you, Luke, for having us here. So we tokenize the top-tier pre-IPO companies like SpaceX and Solopic, OpenAI. If you think about the space, it's very inefficient, right? The trillions of dollars sitting on the balance sheet of family office endowment with no liquidity. So we want to provide everyday investor with access to those high-quality top assets and on BNB Chain.
Hi all, Rick Gullabove at Franklin Templeton Digital Assets. Really excited to be part of this panel today and great partner on BNB Chain. So we at Franklin Templeton focuses on really unique key pillars in the digital asset ecosystem. I help lead our Benji Americas opportunity sets. Benji is a tokenized U.S. government money market fund strategy, and we currently have 4 unique flavors of Benji throughout the ecosystem. So super excited to be here and be part of the action. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought this is kind of a perfect panel because everyone operates in different asset classes, right? We have Val at XStocks on the tokenized stock side, Paimon, who's doing a bit of private credit, also pre-IPO stocks, and then finally Rick on the money market side and future ETFs through Ondo. So that's amazing, and we'd love to see that. So just maybe to kick it off, I'd love to dig into each one of these asset classes a little bit more, see how, levers you're seeing with the retail side. Starting with you, Val, you've grown really quickly. I've seen a lot of the success that XStock has had. Would you attribute that to more of the retail side? What's been the driving sort of force behind it?
Yeah, thanks. It's a great question. So XStocks, when we first launched it, the way we thought about it was, frankly, very retail focused. A lot of the underpinnings of the philosophy of XStocks has been tied to the idea of providing access. We love blockchain technology because it is the ultimate tool to provide access globally to something. And so when we looked at something like, how do we do this with equities? First US equities, soon international equities. What's the right sort of technology? Tokenization, blockchain technology was sort of the right technology. And so when we built it, we thought about how can we do this in a way, knowing that it's still going to be highly regulated, but it was important for us, for this product at least, for it to be permissionless. Similar to stablecoins, right? Yes, it has to be minted, redeemed in a KYC environment, but once it is, it's a permissionless token, so you can self-custody it, take it on chain, and have maximum composability for it. That's how we sort of thought about it and how we approached building out XStocks.
Makes sense. On the Paimon side, I'd love to hear more about the pre-IPO piece. That's been very exciting. We've seen a number of historic rises of the AI stocks lately. I think both sides, right? You're both seeing on the public side through semiconductor and also on the private market side with AI companies. How are you structuring that to give sort of people protections, but also a great way to get exposure while trusting that they have the underlying asset?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think it's a great question. There's a couple problems we're trying to solve. The first problem is access, like Val said, like everyday investor does not have access to SpaceX and SolarPick. And if you think about them, it's like a $4 trillion market cap. So companies these days, AI company, great company, they stay private much longer than before. So which exclude like everyday investor. And at Paimon, we come with our belief or genesis is that the access to high quality investment opportunity, it's a kind of human rights, like access to clean water, access to education. Because we believe if you make a wrong investment decision, it's sometimes you do not have the information, sometimes you do not have the access, and which is bad. So we want to bring the access. At the same time, we also want to bring efficiency back to TradFi because we look at public market, it's already very efficient. As a startup, XStock can do a lot of things to improve the public market, but for us, we believe the marginal benefit that we can bring in is limited. So that's why we look at the private market. It's also a huge market, but very inefficient, trapped in emails, phone calls, and also like no liquidity, no collateralization. That's what we do best in DeFi. Instant liquidity, instant collateralization. So that's the idea behind tokenizing pre-IPO. And then when we look at how we do that, there are already two groups of people doing it. One group is very TradFi, they use SPV to buy it, but their token is not DeFi native, it's not cannot transfer, there's no composability. And you have the other group of people, they only have perp without spot. So it's more like a casino, or say it's a prediction market, you predict how much it will worth. Then there's no institutional market maker will do that because there's no way for them to hedge their position. So we want to eat the cake and have it at the same time. So we want to create a very robust infrastructure compliance stack, SPV stack like those TradFi people doing. We really buy the underlying assets. At the same time, we want to make sure our token is crypto native, freely transferable, and it can be the playbook is what retail investors love. So that's why we built our Launchpad. So in Launchpad, users can access to different layer of discount. And they can complete quest, they can provide liquidity to get payment point, then they can get more discount. So that's why we want to make it crypto native and also institutional, robust, solid at the same time. And back to your question on like what's there, what's underlying. So we work with top tier venture capital, family offices because our team all have been working on Wall Street for decades. So we do have those access. And we put them as an alliance. We call it a Payment Global Unicorn Alliance. They do not want to let people know they are selling, but there's a demand for them to sell because like, if you think about a venture capital, they invest in 10 names, 9 of them die. The other one is SpaceX. It's unproportionally size in their portfolio they want to trim. So we do see those a lot of great supply like that. And we work very closely with them. Because we're very familiar with the whole SPV structure. Maybe it's like a 2-layer or 3-layer, but we manage, because we come with a volume, so we try to negotiate down the fee. And then there's real asset behind it. Then the second question is, how does investor know there's a real asset behind it? Transparency is good, but like by the end of the day, it's all about SpaceX goes IPO. Right? If it goes IPO, what do we deliver to investor? So in the baseline, we say, hey, we liquidate our underlying SPV, we give you money, we give you a stablecoin. That's it. But now we believe that's not good enough. We want investor to have a seamless experience of investment. So that's why we are talking with Xdog, we are talking with Ondo. We want investor to be able to convert our pre-IPO token into a public equity token. So we believe that's a huge market, and also that will improve investor experience by a lot.
Yeah.
I'm bullish.
I think that's one of the most important things you touched on, right? Just having that trust that people know that they're getting actual exposure through the right types of vehicles, and should anything happen, that they are able to claim that. Maybe moving on to you, Rick, I'd love to hear more about money market funds and how you guys are pursuing collateral. I know Benji's done extremely well on BNB Chain and the hundreds of millions we're growing every day. But how do you guys think about the future, and how do you guys think about the collateral piece?
Yeah, thanks, Luke. So I think we all find ourselves in a really unique time as it relates to the digital asset ecosystem and traditional players like Franklin Templeton all joining forces together to really create some really unique attributes by the powers of blockchain. So I think as it relates to some of the steps that Franklin Templeton has taken to get to where we are now, really started in the early, 2018 when we started to research blockchain and really take a deep dive into the tremendous efficiencies that are incorporated by using DLT blockchain technology. Where we are today, we think that tokenization is evolving, I think, faster over the past couple of years to when we started. We launched this Benji token in 2021 to friends and family. So if you look back, we just passed our 5-year anniversary of paying daily yield every single day to clients. That's a pretty exciting thing to be able to share with everyone here. So I think as it relates to Luke, to your question, to thinking about using tokenization and as it relates to money market funds, I also think of this too as a real inflection point where tokenization will also do what the ETF did to capital markets, 40 years ago or 30 years ago, whenever the ETFs first came about. If you think about ETFs back then, everyone was a little skeptical, going from a mutual fund to an ETF. So I think that's kind of what's happening here through the powers of tokenization, is that, a lot of institutions understand it, but we still need a lot more, regular retail folks to understand it as well. But getting back to your question, Luke, when we think of our Benji token, we're natively on chain. So I think that allows us to participate in the collateral ecosystem very efficiently. when you purchase a token and you buy the Benji token, you can use it as collateral. We offer the ability to have peer-to-peer transfers in our wallets that we create, or on the BNB Chain wallet for clients. So you can use that very efficiently. We pay daily accrual. We offer intraday yield. So I think it's a powerful tool for players using it as collateral. So when you think about the power of money and the movement of money, you can send a Benji token instantaneous, and you can also earn yield up to the block time, up to the second, once you send that token to someone else. So think of this really unique super highway that could evolve in a lot of different collateral payment use cases, et cetera. So I think due to the fact that we're evolving in many different jurisdictions as well, just creates nice kind of a moat to be able to offer every type of potential client access to this as collateral, but access to just earning yield. Most people in this world are not earning a significant amount of yield in their daily lives as well. So this is a powerful tool for everyone to capitalize on.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when I always think about that, it reminds me of that movie, I think it's Office Space, where they have the extremely large treasury, but every one day it sits in a money market fund, it earns a lot of money and it adds up over time, right? And I think with the amount of capital that exists on chain and the number of stable coins that are on BNB, I know a few of them plug into you guys to use it, so sometimes you don't even know you're interacting with them, but they're delivering yield through that mechanism. And just a great way, I think, to be integrated.
It's wild to me to hear that this is sort of the 5-year anniversary that you guys just came up on. For someone that historically, one would think of as a quite trad player, to have been in the space and been doing this every day for 5 years at this point and really developing the space is to me is shocking in like the best way possible.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very lucky to have a very forward-looking CEO that she was very involved in the early days of kind of seeing this vision of a blockchain future very early on. So I think it all these great people that are part of these organizations also have to humble themselves to kind of really take a step back and move away from the normal day-to-day operations to kind of think about 5-10 years out what this could look. So give our whole team at Franklin a lot of credit of searching from within, but also working with great partners to really develop some really cool stuff in the future as well. So a lot of excitement.
Yeah. Shifting a bit into on-chain use cases here, one of the most unique things I've seen about Xstocks is how it is composable around DeFi. What do you think that means, like looking forward into 12 months from now? What could that unlock, whether it be the lending borrowing use cases, structured products, or other things that you kind of envision?
I mean, I think you nailed it. The composability on chain is where are the major unlocks for the product, right? Yes, it's interesting to be able to trade, buy and hold, but it's really once you start using these products in ways that have historically just been available to more institutional type players is where you get really massive unlocks. And we have like full spectrum of sort of use cases, all the way from like the full degen, which is like, STRC Stretch. StretchX is like one of the largest X stocks right now. It's paying 11.5% yield. It's very tax efficient. People are looping the crap out of that. We had one project that's like getting 47% annualized through a looping strategy. That is super cool. To me, seems pretty risky, but super cool. So like that's sort of one end of the spectrum. And then we have other use cases where we have partners that are coming to us and saying like, hey, we want to generate real yield in some capacity. We want to do it on chain, but we want to do it with investment grade bonds, maybe AAA rated bonds or AA rated bonds. And so all of a sudden you have a sort of full spectrum of returns with risk associated with it that someone can look at and say, hey, I'm trying to build some sort of yielding portfolio, and maybe I'm not tranching in the traditional sense, but I can do it by pulling up different assets that will generate the sort of yield that I'm looking for. This is something that, unless you were an insto and had the capacity, or you were maybe a little bit more sophisticated investor, you can maybe build sort of on a one-off basis. Now there are bundles that are doing this for you. There are projects that are doing this for you. That kind of stuff is incredible because it just unlocks a whole world of ways that you can start to engage with these assets. And that to me is like one of the exciting pieces of tokenization. Not to mention the ability to start using these as collateral, the ability to do more simple strategies like pledge into a borrow lend protocol to earn some sort of yield on something. All those things are interesting, great use cases. The thing is, and we were talking about this earlier, one of the things that we're encouraging is the builder community, hosting hackathons. I want to do some hackathons with your community because of the pragmatism of the BNB Chain builders, because ultimately, you're going to see more use cases based on need. And that composability unlocks those use cases. That's where I get really excited.
Yeah, that is amazing. And we're equally excited to do something like that because of how far it can reach within the ecosystem. You can use those talks in different ways. And I think the stretch one is a perfect example because DeFi does love, I think, more fixed yield strategies, right? As much as I'd love to have a looping strategy with a volatile asset, you just can't really do it, but Stretch is that perfect asset that combines a little bit of stability with that, and you're able to produce a lot of yield. Totally makes sense. Any other stocks you've been seeing take off recently on your side before?
On our, I mean, you kind of mentioned earlier, like AI stocks. Like I think NVIDIA is probably our second largest after Stretch. People love it. Google, well, I guess Alphabet, Meta, all these guys are big and massive. People just love it. Oh, and of course Circle. Everyone loves Circle.
Yeah, that's a great selection. That'd be my ideal portfolio. I think I should have had that going into today. On the Paimon front, I'm actually kind of touches on price discovery, right? How do you guys think about that, right? We've seen so much. Where is the price discovery for some of these hot issuances? How do you try to value it, and how do you use that with liquid? Like, how does that influence the liquidity piece of it?
It's just vertical, right? It just goes up.
I wish. But that's a very good question. It's like, because pre-IPO is very kind of unique, right? If you think about the spectrum, on one side you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are on-chain assets priced on-chain. On the other side you have Tesla, Nvidia, X, they are off-chain asset, but priced off-chain because on-chain price will follow what Nasdaq price. So SpaceX, it's going to be the first off-chain asset, kind of on-chain priced first. Basically, we are front-running Nasdaq, right? So that's the exciting part. But then the other question is how can we do the price discovery? Because say we sold SpaceX at 650 and stay at that level. There's not much ups and downs. So if it goes like a triples or like a 10 times, it does not make sense, right? But if there's no volatility, it also does not make sense. So there's a couple of things we need to do. Is one is market maker education. So we need to work with a lot of market maker to help ask them help to provide liquidity. It's a new asset. It takes time to find the best way to work with them. And the second thing is we are trying to connect our spot with perp. We believe perp is the way investors like to trade. But the only problem with current pre-IPO perp is they do not have a liquid spot market. So it's just a casino. So we want to be the underlying assets for the major perps. So then perp become a kind of price discovery for us. And the third thing is what we are working very hard on is research. So we want to put out more content, let people know how those companies works and how should we think about valuation. Because valuation is kind of a new word to the crypto world, right? So, but we believe more and more people are talking about that. I will call it a kind of a Graham Dodd moment of crypto. Before 1920s, when Benjamin Graham and Frank Dodd wrote Security Analysis, stock market is a casino. nobody know what a share of a company was. But after that, people start to realize, hey, it's discounted your future cash flow, it's ownership of the company. Then you start to have all the research. And I believe it's something similar is happening here in crypto as well. So people start to think about the fundamental. The community is getting more and more mature. And we are going to provide them more content to think, hey, how should SpaceX be priced? How should Anthropic be priced? So that's what we are working very hard on. And one more thing is we have a fixed income product called Payment Prime, which we bring off-chain private credit on-chain. But we use Franklin Templeton Benji as the liquidity buffer. Without that liquidity buffer, it's a quarterly liquidity. Nobody will buy it. Now with that liquidity buffer, the yield might be slightly lower, but now it's a daily liquidity. So I would say the composability is super important.
And Rick, I guess anything that would be sort of next for you guys to, what's on the roadmap on your side?
I mean, we're thinking about a lot of different things. We've got within our team, we offer the ETFs, we offer some separately managed account portfolios for clients. We have a venture group that's associated to our team. But as it relates to our Benji suite, we have 4 Benjis currently now throughout the globe that are available to a vast array of clients. So we're building some stuff behind the scenes, but I think they're going to be unique because Franklin Templeton's unique. And what I mean by that, excuse me, is Franklin Templeton has some really amazing brands under the Franklin Templeton kind of umbrella. We have some commercial real estate team, private credit team, so there's a lot of different things that we can come up with as it relates to building out a suite of tokenized strategies that can enhance, what we already have in our traditional kind of roster of amazing brands. We own a ClearBridge, we own Western Assets, so there's a lot of different things we could do as it relates to building out really cool products for clients. But also we want to hear from, clients as well, what they want too. We want to, see what the market wants, see what, Luke wants, and, and we'll be able to, use that to our advantage of how we design different things. So didn't really answer your question, but we got a lot of stuff, popping up on our end that we're looking into and trying to figure out how do we capitalize on the momentum with Benji now. And how do we capitalize on, especially where rates are, right? So rates are still very attractive. The flight to quality still remains intact throughout the globe. So as more and more institutions start to understand what's happening with tokenization, you'll start to see, even, more, skyrocket of just use cases for these tokenized money market funds. And then from there, they're a perfect gateway to the next product set that will be launched.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think we all look to see what you guys are going to do next because you have so much opportunities out there. And but I really think what you're doing right now is just the perfect way forward, and collateral that Paimon can tap into and others just enable so much. That's the end of the panel. I wanted to kind of thank you all for building on BNB Chain. It's incredible to see what you guys are doing, and wish you guys the most success, and we'll be here to help support that.
Awesome.
Thanks,
you.
Luke. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna grab some. We can do it outside. Yeah. What's that? Great. Yeah.
can just take one mic, right? Or
Yeah. And then do you know if the other... We're all here?
waiting.
So we're going to present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's first and then... Yeah.
I'm an audio engineer.
Oh yeah. No worries. Should I not be in your seat? Oh, we've read. All right. Yeah. No, we'll be there. Yeah.
Judges right here. Yeah.
Just be here.
You like triple wielding, right?
How you going, Bobs?
How's it going, man? Good to see you.
Been a while.
New continent?
Yeah, new continent.
Yeah.
Hey,
Devin.
how you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
Dev, like when?
Yeah.
We spoke on Telegram.
Yeah. You added me to the wrong chat.
Yeah, man. Come on. I team to like the actually. Just like.
Oh, you're on the demo side.
Yeah.
Well, that's like your demo too.
Yeah, it's like the conference. Yeah, but actually no, it's everything.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like basically like
Is that the first demo?
so me, I will present 5 minutes, and then there will be the first demo.
Okay, but are you using a laptop before that?
No, you
It's
can,
not
yeah.
gonna show. I just switched to
Yeah.
Thanks for organizing. Yeah, to see the. Is it like from?
So there is like 3 pitches. No, there is 3 pitches from a hackathon that we did the US college tour. So there is 3 from that, and then there is like 2, like more like advanced projects, right?
Okay, that's
That
like
was
the easy side. Or no, totally separate.
We try not to overlap.
Okay.
no audio, just video.
I see this one, no one.
Okay.
It's my intro. It's coming in. Yes. Yeah. Doing the exit that when you want to use the team, when you say that, you switch on your phone, right? Yeah.
Oui, non, j'ai vraiment juste laissé terminer dans les balles, parce que j'avais envoyé les photos à Mel.
Ah bah, c'est parti. On va se installer dans 2 secondes. Là, il est au Google Slide et tout. Et moi, j'ai mes slides. Enfin, j'ai que 2 slides et je peux. Est-ce que tu veux que je présente les judges du coup? Parce que du coup, c'est quoi les. Parce que je les connais même pas. Donc c'est quoi
Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are. Overthink tomorrow when we're alright. That's when we forget just who we are. Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are.
And hello again, everyone. At this time, the demos are going to begin in the auditorium. If you wish to see these demos, please make your way towards the auditorium.
Teaching me, but it was
All right. Hi, everyone. Very happy to see you today. So it's demo time, right? So I will give like a small retrospective on the US hack. So basically, like the project we will see in just like 5 minutes. So there is like some projects that we did during like a BNB hack, right? So basically, we went on a tour in the entire US. So we went at like Stanford, we went at Harvard, we went at Berkeley, we went at UPenn, we went at NYU to meet like students directly like on the ground. And so then they all participate in the big like BNB hack on the US college edition. So all US college were competing. And so we bring today the top 3 finalists in front of our judges, right, that I will just introduce just after this. And so those projects, so on top of being here with us in Miami, we'll basically get like a fast track to so basically like they will get fast track to easy residency. They're also getting like different prizes, like so total we have like 10K in prizes for them. So we're very exciting to have their like present today. And we also have like 2 other projects, so like more like advanced projects, so ready to get funded that we'll present with us today. So like those projects, so for the hackathon part, we had like all the people we met here, and like so they had like 3 tracks they could choose from. So the AI on-chain track, right, which is probably like one of the most interesting like narrative in Web3 today, because like like agentic payments are very important in the AI narrative. If you have an agent, you really want it to be able to pay, and blockchain and BNB Chain is the best place to do it. We have more than 150,000 agents deployed on BNB Chain and registered like using like ERC 8004 and all like different platform that you can do this very easily. There is also like DeFi and financial tools, right? It's still like very strong narrative because we need to build a new financial infrastructure. DeFi is still in very early stage. So like today we have we have tokenized stocked people today, commodities, and so you really want to have those kind of project and help them grow in the ecosystem. And so last track was the dev tooling and infrastructure, because as a developer relation person, my job is to have everything possible for developers to be able to build faster and quicker on our chain, and to make sure they have like solid project, everything that can help builders grow on the chain. So I will introduce our judge. So today our judge there is like a small issue with the slide, but so our judge today. So we have Andy from GSR, we have Davin from EVG, and we have I don't know the Brett. Sorry, and we have Brett from Capital. So we're very happy to have you today to judge with us, and I think we can get started with the first demo. So I'm calling the Credence team to present. You can come here and you have your computer here for the demo. Oh yeah, and we have like the name here. We also have Luke from our BD team that is here to judge with us.
Oh, we start with the demo. We start with the slides.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm starting with the slides though.
Oh, start with the slides.
Yeah. All right. Is this thing on? There we go. All right. So while we're getting the slides up, I guess I'll just start with a quick introduction. So Credence is an on-chain credit infrastructure using ZK off-chain attestations to bring FICO credit scores on-chain, and essentially enable people to get enable people to get under collateralized, or possibly even in the future, unsecured loans on chain. So let me do just a quick few questions for the crowd. Just by show of hands, how many of you have a credit score? I'm assuming this is more than most of you. Probably all of you have a credit score. Yeah. How many of you have a credit card, mortgage, auto loan, anything? Yeah. You need a credit score for those things, right? How many of you interact with DeFi? Probably about half, maybe a little more. Yeah. Okay. And how many of you have gotten a loan on DeFi? That's borrowed money on DeFi. 1, 2, maybe 3. Okay. Yeah. So that's essentially the disparity that I was looking at when I made this protocol, or when I made this infrastructure, right? So what we have here is where credit is today, right? So DeFi lending around 30 billion. That's a fraction of total DeFi, which is around 130 billion. But that's out of a multi-trillion-dollar market that it could possibly be, right? So if you look at what blockchain was before, let's say stable coins, you see Tether brought in things like Tether brought in stablecoins as a huge innovation, right? Now people all over the world can get access to US dollars, and they can get access to things that their banking system can't provide them. And beyond just the US credit market, I was thinking that this is something that can be a global thing, something that people all over the world can get access to credit using blockchain. But the technology's not there yet. Right now, you need $150 to borrow $100. That's places like Aave, Morpho, Venus Protocol. You need 150% collateral to borrow. And that's not capital efficient. That's not how we get people borrowing on chain. So I'll do the demo now and show you guys how this works. There we go. So let's look at Vitalik. He has a pretty good credit profile. So this will take about 90 seconds, and that's, if you guys have applied for a credit card, it's about how long that takes, so just for comparison. While that's going, I'll talk a little bit about the model itself. This is just a kind of a prototype, but in production, what would really be happening is you have the off-chain attestation, which is ZKTLS, which runs through Zcredit, and that's BNB Chain's collaboration with Primus and Brevis, two zero-knowledge identity infrastructure companies. And what you would essentially do is that you click something or you click a button on the website that says submit off-chain attestation, and it would take you to your Experian, Equifax, TransUnion credit page, and you would connect it that way, and those credit companies would send the data to an on-chain lender. So that would be Morpho, Aave, or whoever comes in the future. And they can use that data from off-chain as well as the on-chain credit data that I'm doing right here to essentially make their own underwriting models and lend people money under collateralized or unsecured, whatever it might be. And right now this is just querying using Allium, an on-chain credit provider, to look through this wallet's data. So right now it's looking at all these 5 different chains. It's looking at behavioral attributes that we'll see in a second. So things like there we go. Okay, so looking at this right now, Vitalik has a 28 composite credit score. That's, so you can see his off-chain credit score right here, 57. And essentially the methodology here is that you need 2 different things, or 2 different attestations. You need the on-chain and the off-chain to actually, have proper under collateralized lending. So you can see that according to my model, he should get around 142% collateral. Let's say that Vitalik he probably has pretty good credit, right? Let's say 774 credit score, submit the attestation, use MetaMask, confirm that, and it should just take just a couple seconds here. Confirmed, and there we go. 82 composite credit score and 88% collateral according to my underwriting. So then let's look at the full credit report here. This should look very familiar if you've used something like Experian before. So borrowing protocol activity, repayment consistency, loan repayment, all these things, very similar to how you see it on Experian. I don't have too much time to look at that, but essentially that's supposed to be the kind of thing that you can come from off-chain and essentially just come right onto DeFi and be able to have under-collateralized, unsecured lending as soon as you come in. So we'll go back to the presentation now. All right, but this is kind of where I had to pivot here. Credit scores are not for the lenders, they're for you. That's for you to get an idea of what your credit score is like right now, what lenders are kind of seeing. So instead, I thought that this would be much better off as credit infrastructure for on-chain lending. That would be things that, so we sell an API to companies like Morpho, Aave, Venus, and they can do the underwriting themselves, or they can buy the underwriting from me, whatever they want to do. So, revenue. I'm thinking that as soon as this is fully built, I'll start getting a BD team together and build the infrastructure out, and that would be, let's say 5 cents per query first year, 12 months, about 12,000 ARR approximately per protocol, 50 protocols in the first year or so that's 600,000 ARR. And then as we move on through the phases, which I'll get into on the next slide, that ARR and the cost burden should both rise. So let's get into the phases. First phase today, look at the DeFi lending market, 30 billion right now, but that's not what we want. We want trillions, not billions. Phase 2, consumer unsecured, right? So that's credit cards, unsecured loans, private credit, all those things that you might have, mortgage loans, all of those things. And then long-term corporate credit, that is a $13 trillion market that we could bring on chain. And that would require a lot more regulatory compliance. That would need something like a partnership with somebody like Equifax or Experian to really get that going. But yeah, I think it is possible to bring that on chain. And then long term, very much harder would be sovereign and government debt, which is an over $80 trillion market. So what are other on-chain credit protocols doing right now? So there's the consumer protocols like Cred, as I've pointed out, and then you've got the institutional ones like Maple and Goldfinch. Consumer ones, they use black box models. Those aren't regulatory ready, and you know, they might work, but they're not necessarily ready for ECOA compliance. Maple, Goldfinch, institutional ones, those are bespoke underwriters, but doesn't quite scale. Mine uses a logistic regression, uses binned coefficients so that you can see I'm in the range of 1 to 3 years of history. So if you get a denial of credit or you've got a denial of credit letter, then they have to send you a letter saying, here's why, according to ECOA Regulation B. And mine is ready for that. I can immediately tell you, here's why you didn't get your credit, because this is what the regression said. Now, what's built? We have the regressions, we have contracts and contract tests. There's a live deployment that I just showed you guys, and you can look at that website. And so yeah, over the next 12 months, there are some more things that I'm going to work on. Get a white paper published, protocol partnerships, possibly try to get a partner like Experian or Equifax, or maybe a smaller credit bureau involved. And then after that, mainnet deployment, first page protocol integration, then institutional pilot, and multi-jurisdiction expansion after that. So I'll finish off there. I've got 9 seconds left. So yeah, I'll take questions if you guys have any. Yeah?
Could you go back to the previous slide?
Sure.
What is AUC?
Oh, yeah, area under the curve. That is the discriminatory power of the regression that I made. So essentially the regression model, it's the 0.82, it's a little tricky, the econometric analysis of it, but essentially that means that there's an 82% or so probability that it got it right in terms of this wallet will not be liquidated. So it looks, the wallet looks at a wallet, sorry, the model looks at a wallet and it says it will or will not be liquidated. That 0.82 number is basically the probability that it gets that right. Yeah.
What's the time span that you have your data set from, and like how many things did you run? How many wallets did you run through your data set?
It's from all time on Venus Protocol. So from the start of Venus Protocol, well, actually, not necessarily sure all time, but whatever Allium had. That's all the data time frame that I had. It's 115,000 wallets that were on that protocol that were interacting with it. Sorry, what was the second part of the question there?
How many different wallets did you run through the analysis?
115,000 or so.
Understandable.
But in the future, that could be expanded to other protocols, other chains. This is obviously a BNB competition, so I restricted it to only the BNB, lending protocol, which is Venus. But you could expand it to many other protocols, improve the model further than that.
Okay, and last question on my behalf. What do you do in the case that somebody has multiple wallets?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Yeah. So when you have an off-chain attestation, it creates, so in production, it'll create a hash that is only for that off-chain attestation. So when you bring your off-chain attestation to a new wallet, what happens is that new wallet essentially takes the on-chain and the off-chain credit history of the old one. And that's kind of like, this kind of forms a two-way credit profile for you. So it's that you really can't, attach your off-chain credit profile to one wallet and default on that wallet, grift one protocol, and then detach that wallet, go to a new wallet and say, okay, yeah, brand new lending history, I have a 780 FICO score. The way it actually works is that you carry the on-chain history along with you as long as you're bringing your off-chain credit history. If you're asking if you want 2-3 wallets at a time, I haven't quite figured out, or I haven't quite put in the technology to have all three at once, but essentially probably the way that would work is that you'd have live data from each wallet going to the model or going to the credit report, and it would have to make sure to factor in all three of those at the same time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. If you have one more question, you can ask one last one. Yeah.
How do you expect integration with DeFi protocols, just given that they're over-collateralized now, and of course can't handle under-collateralization?
Yeah, so they can write their own underwriting models. If they want to keep it over-collateralized but just lower the collateral ratio, they could do that. If they want to under-collateralize or even unsecure, they could do that. But essentially, what I am is infrastructure that gives you the necessary data to have under-collateralized loans. So right now, they don't have any data, or they have minimal or only on-chain data. What this does is it brings data from off-chain. So now you can have somebody's actual credit report come on-chain, but you don't need to actually know their identity. You just know that they're a trustworthy borrower or not trustworthy borrower as a real-life person, not just from their Web3 wallet. So the way that they underwrite their models, they can do it however they want. I've made my own model that creates a collateral ratio because this was originally supposed to be a lending protocol, but I decided to pivot away from that to be an API that you sell to protocols that they call upon the smart contract that I put on BNB, and they can take the on-chain and the off-chain attestation and underwrite that however they want.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. So now yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, judges will mark the score and they will grade like projects. I think that's a bit quick. Yeah. So yeah, like project will be graded all over, like all during the presentation, and at the end, like later today, we will present the winner. So now, yeah, I will have Messier team that is getting ready to present the next project. Guys, it's a bit. So this is if you want, like if you don't have your slides. So the slide you just have to be. All right, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Slides or demo?
Slides. All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Vishva.
I'm Juno.
And together we built Messier. We're trying to build the spend layer for the agent economy and essentially provide early stage startups with the CFO that they may not want to hire within their first couple weeks. So the average seed stage startup, SaaS specifically, has around 135K to spend per year, and a lot of this gets wasted, essentially in API bills and costs that go untracked. Juno and I have personally tried building a company in the past, and a lot of information, as many of you may know as past founders, gets lost in Notion docs, in email accounts, and a bunch of different spaces that are very hard to track, and it's the perfect place for an agent to come in and kind of take over and make this very programmatic.
Right, so I guess the question is why now? So firstly, obviously agentic, it's a big buzzword. A lot of things can interact with 402 protocols now. The second one is that, like when you're a human interacting with SaaS subscriptions or tools, it's very hard to like manage as that scales and as you grow as a startup. But with agents, it's very easy to have like micropayments and interact with them on a pay-as-you-go basis. And then thirdly, just X402 as an ecosystem is like currently exploding. I think there's a lot of more providers that are integrating 402 as a viable payment option. So that's just another reason why this is a great time.
So what Messier specifically does is see every dollar that is leaving an account that you give to an agent. So essentially what we do is provide a team wallet address, and what this agent will do is pay for things like your Claude subscription, Slack, and whatever other subscriptions you may have. You also have a couple different chats where you can talk to your different agents and hear what exactly you're spending some of your spend on, and cut some of the unnecessary expenses out if they do come up. And again, all of this is in a shared wallet, so all the members of your team can kind of log in, see what expenses are going in and out, and just validate what's going on with your company.
Yep. So I guess in the scenario that you're like a new startup, kind of one of the first things you do with our app is to connect your email, just go through any past receipts or transactions. And then, a couple of days in, you're going to see that the savings are kind of just going to come through, cutting out unnecessary or duplicate expenses. And then, by like a couple of weeks in, you're just ready to keep going and then renew payments automatically, especially for recurring transactions or subscriptions.
So talking a little bit about why now and why us. Again, as Juno just mentioned, the Gmail integration is one of the key user moats that we developed. It's very easy to log into the platform and just plug it into workflows that you've already created. It's not something you have to set up on your own. It just reads context from your existing platform. Also with X402, our goal is just to make this as easy as possible. We're building on infra that already exists. And again, I think another distribution channel we have is via our universities. So talking to founders that we know and as founders ourselves, it's very easy to get our foot in the door for some of these early conversations with friends and family that are kind of in different startup ecosystems in SF or New York, whatever it might be.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna skip over this. This is kind of just like, like a diagram showing that for like a sample SaaS startup, kind of the duplicate spending that you can kind of imagine and that we can cut out in terms of unnecessary waste. And so in terms of like why we're the right people to do it, so again, I'm Juno. We're both students at UPenn. We're both active and members of Penn Blockchain, especially in the dev committee. So we're very like embedded within the community that we're trying to touch and like ship for. All right. Yeah. So basically, in terms of different phases that we see for the future of Messier, so right now we're targeting like pre-seed and seed stage startups. So that's just like in terms of our founder network, just the people that we know, kind of get them onto like X402 ready payment rails. I think once we hit, like a couple teams that are onto Messier, move on to like Series A, B startups, like kind of work more on being like compliant and audit ready. And then in the future, we're just scaling like, I guess, infinitely. We're like, as the X402 ecosystem just grows and grows, I think that's gonna also benefit our product as well.
And yeah, going back to, I guess, a little bit of our roadmap and what we have today, what we're trying to go for in the future. I mentioned earlier, we have the Gmail integration. We look at some of your receipts from the past 30 days. And upon doing that, we do things like flagging duplicate spends, things that may not be needed for your account. We also do things like just plain English summaries of some of your transactions so it doesn't get lost just in financial documents. So just making everything as easy as possible.
Okay, so here we have a couple of figures in terms of like our addressable markets. So basically, we can start with like crypto native teams that are working in the startup space. And from there, we can kind of scale to non-crypto relevant teams. So as X402 becomes more mainstream and not something that's like essential maybe to your product. And then from there, we can just scale to all different types of startups, maybe not even tech ones, because they will have like recurring expenses that they do need to manage. And we believe that like agentic control is going to make that easier for them.
Yeah, and here's a quick competitor breakdown. You can see some of the big players in the space like Ramp, Mercury, even Slash. They have a lot of similar components, but not all at once. And yeah, I think that's really what sets us up to be different than some of these other platforms. I guess we can skip over this portion a little bit, but I guess we can jump right to the demo. Show you guys what we have. Okay, so this is kind of what the dashboard looks like. It's loading up for a second. So if you zoom in down here, you can see some of the transactions that we ran, I guess like a month ago. This is to simulate some of the API bills. So whether it be like a Claude transaction, or sorry, like a Claude inference or some other small spend, you can have those all tracked in one place. You can manage multiple subscriptions as well. Like over here, we have our Amazon EC2 instance. The renewal would have or should have been a month ago, but I don't think we ever assigned it to a specific agent, so it didn't go through. But you can also chat to a couple different agents here. Like you have your budget guardian. This is one where you can monitor spend, and if you chat to it, you can ask a question like, "What was the most recent spend? Why did it happen?" Explain. When, why, where, the vendor, and all those different things. You can also set budgets, look at your usage metrics, and then in this tab you can see the team wallet and so like its balance and some of the transactions it's done in the past. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, that's pretty much our demo. Feel free to ask any.
Question. Thanks, guys. Maybe to start off, why integrate with the email versus the bank?
So I think like just kind of like where this came out of is because of like visionized struggles as like founders. So in our previous startups, like a lot of stuff that we were looking at was through like email receipts, and that's how we kind of like just forwarded stuff to each other, and we would balance out our funding that way. And like we didn't want to have like our personal bank accounts linked to that, especially for like really small or like early stage startups. We think it's like kind of unrealistic for them to like go out and like make a corporate bank account, especially when they're just like testing out an idea, but they want to like, you know, have like a couple subscriptions. So that's kind of the main reason that we made that integration, but we are working on like a Plaid integration as well.
Okay. And then I guess on the competitor side, like, do you see those other folks moving in this direction, just given they are already the banking layer, right? And they already have access to the ledger.
Definitely. I think there are like a lot of companies that are going to move towards this direction, but I think one of the features that I don't know if we like really emphasized is that you can insert like, if you see, so if you see like team API key, and you as a software startup are like calling or dependent on like an X402 service, you can put that in as like a proxy to your header, and it will track like core like X402 services that are important to your product. So it's like not just like your instance or your infrastructure, but like you're relying on data through an API, and it'll track the spend for that as well. And you can manage like more core features.
So that tracks your like corporate X402 spending if you're using agents or other automated APIs and you're paying for those.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you do the fiat rail with the X402? For example, like this EC2 instance, like how are you paying for that?
I'm pretty sure we just bring on USDC.
But is there a provider there that then essentially acts like a credit card or some other transfer? Like, because you can't pay Amazon with stablecoins yet, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the vision is that, you know, people are going to start adopting it, but at the current stage, it's like you can only pay like people that are already integrated with X402, like via X402. But like the other stuff, like manual subscriptions, you can also add and track.
Okay, you just can't pay for them yet until they accept X402.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Which companies right now accept X402 payments?
I don't have like a comprehensive list, but I would assume, I think Stripe launched like the machine payments protocol. So I think a lot of people that are already like using Stripe to integrate with their like storefronts or businesses are going to start using MPP. But yeah, I don't have like a list for you, but I think, do you know any like examples?
This just like off the top of my head, I remember, I think it was like a day or two ago, Stripe launched like the link for agents for like off-ramping. So I think that was also like one of our next steps, just to like continue development. I think like on the side as well, we're building another project that's like intent-based spending. So like if my intent is send Juno $10, you can have an agent do that and then off-ramp the crypto.
All right. Thanks a lot. No more questions. No, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, thanks. So next team we'll have will be the Dojo team. So I will invite them to come on stage. All right. You ready to go? And the beeper, yeah. These two. You can just beep it. But actually, yeah, you might not need it because you have your slide directly here, right?
Slides or this first? Oh yeah, so start here.
Are you ready? You ready?
All right. GM, everyone. I'm Esvin. I'm from Texas Tech University.
GM, I'm Jerry.
And we're building Dojo, the training platform for AI agents. Hit it, Jerry. So basically the problem is that everybody's agent is different. Some are good at marketing, some are good at specific coding, research, whatever it is, everybody has their unique skill set that makes that agent good. So along with this, we have issues that it's hard to gauge what agents are trustworthy when you're interacting with them as well, or what skills are actually good. Like right now, people just post a skill on Twitter and people copy and paste it, send it to their agent. They don't know if it's any good or not. Or you have these skill marketplaces like ClawHub, and you really don't know what works or doesn't work. So, and on top of this too, it takes a lot of time, and it's real money, effort, and credits that are on the line, and we know credits can get expensive pretty quick. So the solution is a platform where agents get trained by other agents. So what this looks like is basically, I have a research agent. I focus a lot of my time on research. I'm posting, I have it where it pulls from the XAPI and all these certain skill sets that I built it. And Jerry has his agent that is good at coding. He spends a lot of time coding. So what we do on the platform is you actually just go on, list your agent, and I pay for the agent to train my agent. In the back end, it's just spreading the skill set and sharing all the info needs. And the best part about this is you only pay if the skill works. So we have an escrow fund where the skill set has to go through before it happens. But the reason we built this was because during the whole OpenClaw Hermes thing, a bunch of people we were setting up agents for kept telling us, I wish my agent could do the same thing your agent does. And this is something we came across several times over and over again, both technical and non-technical. And it takes a super long time to build an agent to what you want it to be. On top of this too, we have a separate project called Maya. Maya is like trust infrastructure for AI agents. And the issue we came across with this is that we had a scaling problem. Right now, we have over 1,000 queries on Maya and 120 unique callers. This project recently won the Synthesis Hackathon, and we came across that scaling issue like I mentioned. It's hard to get more agents to our platform to create that trust infrastructure. So we came up with the idea of Dojo. And now we're gonna run through a quick demo. So basically, our platform is very agent orientated. This is more the human interface that we built for y'all to demonstrate exactly what it is. But really the core offering is just, you just give the API to our agent, or to your agent, and you share it and it gets full access to this. And now when you're on the Dojo, basically you go in, you see the skill sets. This one specifically, I want to get the web scraper workflow. That's what this agent is offering for sale. And you pay for it, and obviously you don't get charged until it passes the test on our platform, the Dojo, to say this is legit. Hit it to the, yeah, go back to the slides. So why this is important is that this, like I said, feeds right into our MyApp flywheel. So agent lists itself on our platform, another agent pays that agent to pay for it. Dojo verifies if the training worked. If it didn't, it doesn't have to pay. If it does, it gets paid. The outcome becomes a trust signal for MyApp. So we have a big trust infrastructure layer where all this feeds into like a trust score on how trustworthy these agents are. And on top of that, because we're plugging that information into Maya or into Dojo as well, you can say this agent is trustworthy and the skills that are selling is legit based on the other previous customers and all the transactions that are happening on chain, which means higher activity to Dojo and more activity to Maya. So it's just the everlasting flywheel for both our projects within the ecosystem. And the way we make revenue is pretty simple. You list your agent, we get a 5% cut of what your agent is listed at, and we only take that if the agent has the skill that happens, or it actually goes through and works. So the team, we like to call ourselves G's Labs, Jerry and myself, and we got a little fun video we made for y'all.
3 years ago, I met this Asian, no, not this one, volunteering at a crypto conference. And seriously, we couldn't shut up about one thing: how easy it is to fake things online. So that spring break, I invited Jerry to pull up to my house, and we worked on a solution all break long. The idea was simple. Let's put receipts on chain so every review is actually verified. Everybody we talked to loved it. VCs, builders, even normies. We submitted a 4+ hackathons and realized we were just too fucking early.
Nah, I think TrueCritic was too early.
So we pivoted.
After TrueCritic, I found a job at Piranha as a growth developer, and then I built my project called Sponge on Solana, and we got lots of traction and got into an accelerator.
I started the biggest crypto club on campus, helped put together the biggest student conference in crypto, and launched college.xyz. But the whole time, we never stopped coming back to this idea. Hell, we even had our own dads telling us to bring it back.
Like he was talking about, there are so many agents out there, and so many things are generated by AI. How do I trust them? And then he told me, oh, you should start to think about your review things. And I was like, what?
And now we're here. So that's kind of a little bit of our origin story. Ever since then, we've been building Maya, our separate project. We won the Synthesis Hackathon, like I said, through the base track. We won the BNB student track, and we've continued to ship countless products through G's Labs. But what's next? Well, we're just gonna keep shipping, keep pushing to onboard more agents. That is the core goal of our mission, and feed as much data as we can into our separate project, Maya. And then, of course, take Dojo to fucking mainnet. But yeah, that's Dojo. If you have any questions.
As you guys like build out like more, get more agents onboarded onto your platform, and like a lot of them will have like similar skill sets. How do you make sure that, you know, it's not very like top heavy, where like say like there's like a web scraper that has a lot of reviews, but then like someone else a year down the line comes and builds like maybe like an even better agent, or maybe fits like my purposes better. Like how do you ensure that service is for me?
We thought about that a lot. So the way we look at it is like, if you have a specific skill set and you're the only one with that skill set, you can go and put the market for whatever you want. You can charge your skill at $100, whatever. But as soon as other agents start training with you, the market's obviously gonna go down because there's more suppliers. So the benefit of that the first original owner gets, is that we have the trust infrastructure part. So because several agents have paid for your skill set is more trustworthy, and you can ultimately lower your skill set for how much you ever want, and then you can just keep going. But the more and more people that buy your skills or get trained by you, builds that trust reputation and gain credit, and gets you up on the leaderboard to say, this is the best skill set, and ultimately that also gives you a way to keep improving yourself, and like not just post one skill and be done. You can constantly keep updating your agent and its skills and keep putting them for sale.
Well, like what if like so like what if I like join your platform late and I would create a skill, but then like there's already a bunch of others. So for example, for the web scraper, right? Say there's like five skills that are considered like the top skills, but then I want to come in, I want to compete in that marketplace, but I want to ensure that like my new skill that's competing with web scrapers, that can actually like get surfaced to like my users. How are you planning on doing that?
So like, how are we marketing your specific skill set?
Yeah, like if I'm like a completely new user that comes in and builds a skill on your platform.
Yeah. So the way we've thought about this is like, we can push marketing campaigns, so we can actually charge for like, you just published a skill or you're new on the platform, you can push for your skill to be at the top of the leaderboard and say, this is the skill set. Or we're also thinking about adding like new users, like this is a new skill set, try it at a cheaper discount price or something. There's a lot of ways we can take it, but that is something we've definitely thought about.
Got it. So you guys are planning on selling like ads to agents as well? Basically.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
One thing we've been talking about too is like subscription. So you just subscribe to an agent, so you could do something similar to like what's it called?
A sandbox preview. Sandbox. So it will be like a sandbox preview whenever you want to try new things.
Any other questions?
Have you thought about how you've designed the platform for agents to navigate, discover versus humans?
So yeah, we actually designed CLI commands for agents. Actually, you can just access through API or through our CLI. It's not live yet because it's only on local right now. Yeah, but in the future, we'll definitely push it on for human to go globally, and when we push it on mainnet.
As far as designing it too for the humans, it's just like what looks the cleanest and is the most simplest.
I ask because, I mean, how agents discover other agents is going to be I think nobody's figured that out, right? And it's like the part of the trust score maybe, but are there other things that I guess you found that works, right, navigating that?
Yeah, exactly. That the whole reason we built this project was because, like I said, we have a separate project called Maya. It's also orientated to AI agents. It's how can we create that trust reputation for agents to interact with other things? And we came to that same conclusion: is like, how can we become what is the book product that we can build to bring more of those agents online? And we thought that the dojo, because that issue that we kept coming across of like people setting up their agents. Hell, I even came across that issue when Jerry was helping me set up my agent. It's like his agent's name is Jensen Huang. Mine is called, but mine is Claude's, and like mine was completely trash when he helped me set it up. Like we tried to put him in a group chat how they can improve, and it just doesn't work. So we were like, I think a platform is the best way to do it.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Can give you a round of applause, yeah. All right, so we had like the 3 hackathons project, and now we'll have the 2 more like advanced projects. So with Joku here first. So I think, yeah, we will have the slides on the computer. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The mirror. I think if you want to see what you're seeing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just want to make sure you want to start here?
Yeah. Thank you. Hi, I'm Joshua Mendez. I'm one of the co-founders for Joku. It stands for Joining Our Knowledge, Unifying Humanity. And this is the confidential operating system for the agent era. So we're doing for sovereignty what Spotify did for music, meaning we're condensing a bunch of privacy tools into one app. And the reason why is because your AI is a snitch, right? We were promised Jarvis, instead we got a corporate informant. This is the dire reality that we're going through. So WhatsApp was supposed to be end-to-end encrypted. Your incognito tab was supposed to be private, but that's policy. They pay a fine, nothing happens. So we already know because of recent rulings, unless you have an enterprise 6-figure contract, you're not protected. The everyday user, the founder, the doctor, the lawyer, the music creator, there's no protection. So what's important is the UI and the UX. Why is that a differentiator? You can have privacy, you can have confidentiality, but if nobody uses your app, then what does it matter? It has to be beautiful. There has to be an easy onboarding experience. You can't ask what hobbies and interests they have. I'm immediately going to exit. You need to have something that people want to use. So there has to be utility. There has to be opt-in. There has to be transcriber. There has to be the removal of daily friction. So besides the lawsuits and things that are happening, right, like these violations are very personal. Meaning, for example, my mother went through a surgery. I've also gone through some health scares, but they removed part of her stomach, an ovary, an appendix, and some colon. And she's using Duck AI, she's searching, she's not really sure. She doesn't understand that, Duck AI still saves 30 days of chat, where Brave wouldn't have. But she shouldn't have to. It should be private by design. And so that's why hospitals are banning this, right? The violations are already happening for HIPAA. It's a matter of protecting people that are already getting violated. So the total addressable market for this is over $1 trillion. The early adopters would be people that are passionate about their IP. It's their livelihood. This is how they live. And so we're talking the everyday music creator, the everyday founder who is currently using Claude, is currently using, most likely, right, Anthropic, and their ideas are being stolen. The models are being trained off of their code, and then their ideas are getting shipped faster than they can deliver. And so you also have to abstract complexity, meaning Web3 has failed in many ways. We know this because my parents aren't using it and my kids aren't using it. And if you ask your neighbor, they're probably not using it. So unless you're part of this community, which is a great community to be a part of, it's power users, but it's not mainstream adoption. We have to make a Web3 experience Web 2.5 evolving into a Web 3.5. So you need the agentic features, you need the workflows, you need the automation, and our orchestration layer does all of this. And there's near zero customer acquisition cost. The reason why is because we have this manifesto. And so as word spreads that you can use our platform, have communications for your team, for your data, not have to worry about it getting stolen, know that you're fully protected, people will share it. Mostly early among the people that care about intellectual property, but also the everyday user as they get burned, right? You don't care about fraud until you get scammed. And so people that have had things that have happened to them start caring. So we will have high margins. We protect by math, not by policy. It's using trusted execution environments. AMD, NVIDIA, they have specialized chips and processors. We could not give your data, even if we tried. If we got subpoenaed, there would be no way for us to hand it over. We don't have access to your keys, and it ran on a localized, specialized processor chip. So there's nothing we could do, even if a court ordered us to do it. So make sure that you're protected by math, not by policy. And there's a whole agentic economy happening here. There's big, big money. Because as you're able to move privately, confidentiality, right? You can have confidence knowing that everything that you do, all the money that you're making, all the wallet transactions, there's zero knowledge about what is happening, right? And you can do remote attestations knowing if you have the right security experience to prove that everything is actually private the way we say it is. So more and more economy will be coming on here. And we can do it natively, end to end, full stack. So for more high volume, right, we can use OpBNB, lower fees. And it's an amazing opportunity to be able to have storage, decentralized, and have BSC as well. It's an amazing L1 that you can have high throughput, and it really delivers from the full stack, end to end, decentralized, including compute on our end. This is our team. We care. It's from the heart. We are all passionate about privacy and confidentiality. Me personally, I've been following Kim.com, Mega Upload, Edward Snowden. I've been a believer in watching these messages for a very, very long time. And it's from the heart, from all of us, to protect you, the everyday user. When you need enterprise-grade security and you can't afford a six-figure contract, we're here to give it to you. at a fraction of the cost. So we want to have 50,000 users and signups by the end of the year. We're hoping to take advantage of the marketplace. There's more and more infringements on IP, on privacy, and we're very, very excited. Currently, we have exclusivity. There's a lot of interest that we've garnered. We have a live beta on test flight, and we are very excited to bring this to the marketplace, knowing that everyone is going to have a chance to be protected. Privacy by design. It is the default, and build the trust with the community for the people that care about not getting scammed, not getting defrauded, and not getting extorted by their AI any longer. Please follow me on Telegram. It's @JoshBambino. And I'd like to show you a demo as well. I don't hear sound.
Finally, it's here. The key to be free. A complete decentralized suite. It's your data, encrypted by your key. Collaborate peer-to-peer on exciting projects. Message and call your on-chain connections through the blockchain. See your on-chain activity on the calendar of your identity. And on Joku, we call this the spine. And catch this. Cast ideas away as blurbs into the drift. Generate art in shared chats. Or plug in any AI co-pilot as a sidekick to your adventure. Build your very own universe as a reflection of your intergalactic identity. Joining our knowledge, unifying humanity.
Just one last thing. Thank you very much. We're very excited to tap into the user base for the Binance Exchange, launch pools, and wallet. Thank you for your time.
Any questions?
So if a company wants to integrate you guys, do they have to use your servers only? Can they also use like AWS or like Azure or something else?
Absolutely not.
So then like how many servers do you guys have set up right now? And what is your capacity?
So it's actually funny. We actually could scale easily to 100,000 users right now. As far as capacity goes, we have great partnerships, especially on the compute side. And so we have some secret sauce that we could share on the architecture stack. And you'll be familiar with the company name, but we also don't want to give out exactly who we're using and why we're using them. And there's also some proprietary stuff in there, but we have a way to have high inference usage at low cost.
All right. No more question? Perfect. Then it's very clear. Thanks a lot for presenting. So now, last project, Be Optimum presenting. yeah, you can come on stage. Is it? Yeah, we need to just pass those slides. Yep. You good? And the mic.
All right. Testing, testing. How are you guys? Doing well? Thank you for being here. Oh, I see familiar faces. Didn't expect it, but great. It's amazing to be here in Consensus Miami in the BNB side event, and very excited to share with you what we're building here at Optimum, the first universal data acceleration network. And that could be a mouthful. Before we dive into that, let me introduce you to myself and my co-founders. My name is Kent, one of the co-founders of Optimum. Before this, I used to run Harvard Blockchain Club as the president of the club, and have been investing in the space as a VC for a couple years. I also founded McKinsey Crypto DAO back in the days before starting at McKinsey. And you will see a little bit why all that matters of the institutional adoption. Of course, that's one of the key theses that we've been seeing across all the different conversations these days. And here are my two other awesome co-founders, Professor Miriam Mattert. She is the highest chair professor at MIT's Computer Science School. She is also one of the fellow at the National Academies of Engineering for US, which is the highest level award that any engineer and any professor can get. And we're actually building on top of her whole life's work in network coding. And I'll share more with you in a little bit. The problem we're solving is a fundamental one for all the blockchains. Is high latency, slow bandwidth, low bandwidth. There's state bloat happening with every chain. And you've heard about agent coming on chain. You've heard about tokenizing RWAs. All that requires the chain to be more powerful than ever before. And that requires a more powerful networking layer. What's a networking layer, right? You know about blockchains. Blockchains are basically a bunch of nodes talking to each other and each locally doing compute. So when data comes in, you need to do some compute locally and make sure you compute and verify that, okay, everything matches the signature. Once you do that, you will let others know. That process is called networking. That has become today's bottleneck of scaling pretty much every blockchain, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Solana, whether it's BNB, or whether it's Hyperliquid and so on. And that's what we're solving. What we have introduced is MUM P2P. It's a peer-to-peer protocol, and it's a fast networking protocol. It brings benefits across the board. L1, L2s, the validators, the dApp builders, and eventually, of course, the users and the traders. What we have done is we started off with validators. Why? Because every blockchain is actually run by the underlying validators. So we want to help them succeed. We help them run the blocks fast. They can send the blocks fast, receive the blocks fast, and in the process, make more money. And I'll tell you a little bit why I'm talking here about Ethereum Hootie testnet results at a BNB event, and later on you'll see why. But what we have seen already is that it speeds up Ethereum on the Hootie testnet at least 6x on the testnet, and the result is live. We have also gathered over $60 billion of validator TVL on Ethereum across pretty much all the major validators. Out of the top 15 validators, we have signed now over 90% of them. And pretty much all the partners that you see here are running multi-billion-dollar operations on Ethereum, and many of them are also validators for BNB. Now you start to see the connect. So this low latency actually brings to them multi-level APY gain for these validators. Why? When you're running a node operator, there are only three sources of income for you. One, you want to make sure you do the validation work on time, on target. You have to do it right, and you have to do it within a certain period of time. The limiting factor for you is actually receiving the block as quickly enough as possible, and after do your computation, send out your vote as quickly as possible. And if you cannot reach the rest of the network in time, you don't get your reward. So that's the first part. Second, when you're proposing a block, you want to delay proposing as much as possible without missing the block, because that allows you to propose a more profitable block. as time goes on, you are continuously receiving transactions from all the traders that are placing their transactions. And you want to make sure, again, you're able to receive those transactions as quickly as possible so that you can fill up and build a powerful block. And again, speed is money here. So that's what we're bringing to the chain. And it is chain agnostic. What we're already seeing on the Ethereum network on our pilot is that 90 to 100% of the blocks for our customers are actually seeing the speed benefits. On average, they're seeing about a 600 millisecond speed advantage compared to everyone else. And that gives them an edge. That helps them make higher staking yield. And that's something that can benefit from everybody who stake with them. And of course, that's something we can also share with them as an income for ourselves. So it's a win-win situation. Now, how does this lead to a business model beyond us just taking in the money? Where's the crypto native part of it? It is this. It's the decentralized latency marketplace. As you can see, on one hand, here are the users or customers of Optimum, those who value speed, those who can monetize speed, right? So those are the traders, the validators, the math searchers, the block builders, and so on. For these guys, speed is money. So they're willing to pay to get the speed advantage so that they can monetize it. Now, who gives them that speed advantage? It is Optimum as a network. However, we are not the only person or the only organization that is running the network. We are only a small part of it. We're only the initial contributor, and we're only kicking it off. Every node operator that is actually joining our network, as they join, they're actually running one of our gateway, and that gateway is contributing to the network. Is these flex nodes that I'm talking about. So effectively, the underlying flex node is what powers the entire network. It is flex node because it is flexible. They can run by big node operators as an enterprise, or they can run by individuals like us with our spare bandwidth on our computer. As you are reading your email and replying, you can already earn income from those extra bandwidth that is sitting there idle. It is permissionless, and it makes every chain scalable. The more decentralized that chain is, the more nodes that are supporting it, it actually becomes faster and cheaper. And here's a glance how it roughly looks like, right? So at the top, it is any blockchain. Again, it can be Ethereum, can be BNB, and so on. And at the bottom is the flex node network of Optimum. And it helps bring the data all around the world under 100 milliseconds, almost approaching speed of light. We have built an ecosystem with a lot of tier 1 partners. There on the screen, you are seeing all the multi-billion-dollar node operators. Some of them are very large, exceeding the range of $5–10 billion. And just yesterday, we've actually signed also a partnership with BitMine. We haven't even announced it. And that is worth over $10 billion, as you know, as the largest Ethereum staking DAT. And our mission is really to scale any chain. And that is where BNB comes in and becomes extremely interesting. After doing the initial pilot and seeing the real results on Ethereum, we have been looking around across all the chains, whether it's BNB, Solana, Hyperliquid, what have you. There are many competitors out there. We have our eyes on BNB Chain because we see the promise there. It is a chain that is used by many users and also leading the round in terms of AI agents using on it. Why is it important? Again, it requires the chain to be powerful to be able to host all the future demand. 2, RWAs. The BNB chain is also leading the ground in terms of RWA in many ways. There are many interesting projects that are building on top of it, working with it, and we see a lot of promise, right? You must have heard this multiple times. Crypto is a $3 trillion asset class. Stock is a $100 trillion asset class, when we're not even counting all the bonds and credits. So to get there, you need the chain to be multiple 10x, 100x more powerful in order to host all those demands. And again, we would love to be the underlying network that really speed all of them up, be the networking layer that solves the bottleneck. And we have been in the news across all the major publishment and on the road speaking at every major conferences. And we have a growing, buzzing community that will love to have all of you in. And here's the roadmap. We started off with a MUM P2P. It is a fast networking layer, but it's only a beginning. In order to build this universal data acceleration network, we're actually going towards DRAM and DROM. And what are those, you might wonder? RAM stands for random access memory, and ROM is read-only memory. And if you're familiar with computer architecture, you might realize all of these three combined is the memory. So effectively, if you think of blockchain as a world computer, we're solving the most critical bottleneck these days. It is the memory. Memory is important for computer. It limits the scalability if you don't have a powerful memory, and optimum is the global memory for blockchain. Lastly, I also want to remind, beyond the classic L1s, there are also a whole world of use cases out there, whether it's decentralized AI training, decentralized AI inferencing, all the perp chains out there. All these requires extremely powerful networking so that it can hold the performance that it has today and continue to hold tomorrow's future demand. With that, thank you very much. We'd love to chat. Feel free to follow us. Any questions?
Maybe just on talking on the protocol side, how does this work with the, I guess, embedded P2P protocols, like mempools, et cetera, that already exist, and how much work do they need to do to, to be able to integrate?
Absolutely. So it's a great question. How does this, in a way, integrate and interact with existing infrastructures, whether it's the existing networking layer, like libP2P for Ethereum or DevP2P for BNB, as well as how does it interact with the mempool? So a couple things. Number one, this is not a replacement. This is an enhancement. It's a complement. So if you're a node operator that is running BNB or running Ethereum or running any chain, right? But starting with these examples, you don't have to give up your existing networking layer. So you already have multiple peers, typically a dozen or a few dozen. And you will be receiving blocks from them for you to verify, and you will be sending out blocks to them for them to continue to gossip to the rest of the network. You do not have to stop that at all. What you do is you set up an optimum gateway, and from there, you can gain access to the optimum network. And with this, you can receive data much faster than all the other peers. You can send out data and reaches the world faster than the original path. But again, it is compatible with the existing setup without you changing all the other things. And that goes the same for the mempool. We are first focusing on block propagation. So that's after the block is already made by the proposer. So it reaches you. And then you vote on it. And then it gets out. So this vote, when it gets out, enough votes get in, that's the consensus. So mempool is one step ahead, right? When the transactions are coming in, and all the proposers, all the validators, where they will have to sync up on the mempool, it's the same. So to us, it's basically different topics for the optimum network. Mempool is a topic, block is a topic, vote is a topic, but all these topics, they need to move fast. And people who are opting in to specific topics, they can gain benefits from these specific topics.
And so why do you focus on the post-block propagation versus the transaction propagation, just given that, I mean, you're ultimately bounded by the underlying protocol there, and most people want edge, right, in seeing transactions as searchers.
Amazing question. Very, very insightful question. And it is actually one of the first questions we ask ourselves, where do we get started? And we realize this. Validators is like the gatekeeper. Like, if you go straight to the transaction propagation, and you do not have a say, and you do not have a market share on the validator side, you actually cannot ship things in to the transaction pipeline. So you got to start there. Once you get enough, kind of validator market share or adoption, then it gets interesting. You work yourself up the value chain and the transaction pipeline. You go towards the relay, you go towards the block builder, and then you go towards the traders. That's when you can actually promise to them and deliver the promise that, hey, I can help you land your transaction fast. I can help you see what's going on in the chain. I can help you read the latest state of the chain. I can help you get the price of the moving tokens as quickly as possible than others. You all need to start with working with the validators.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So now judges will judge, right, for like a few minutes, and then we'll have Chris and we'll have one panel, and after this we'll give you the result for the hackathon project. So I'm welcoming Chris on stage now. Yeah, where is he? Just here. So, and thanks a lot, judges, for listening to all those pitches today. I hope you enjoy them. And thanks to the audience as well. I hope you enjoy the demo. I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah. Okay. Where is the beep? I think. Do you have the beeper?
Oh, beeper there.
Oh, beeper there. Okay. Yeah. And then there is a panel. Yeah. So you introduce the panel. Yeah. Just the beeper. Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Chris. I'm with BNB. I work or lead within their DeFi division, and I have the pleasure to be moderating this upcoming panel where we're going to talk about kind of like the top to bottom in terms of on-chain infrastructure. So it's pretty broad, but I think it's going to be really interesting to be able to see kind of, starting all the way at the bottom of the stack, working up from a traditional finance perspective, and then ultimately seeing the end user, especially within a DeFi perspective. So I'd like to welcome Niall from AWS down here, and then Samuel from Genius Trading, and then Ahmed from WorldPay here as well. So if you're around, please make your way down to the stage so that we can get ready to start the panel. Thank you, everyone.
As I stand in the mirror, I tell myself now that you're the only one. See the light as the path's getting clearer. I know now that I'll make it out alive. Tell myself as I stand in the mirror, I tell myself now that you're the only one. See the light as the path's getting clearer. I know now that I'll make it out alive. I'm so over you. I'm over you, so over you. I get over you. I'm so over you. I'm over you, so over you. I get over you. I'm so over you. I'm over you, so over you. I get over you. I'm so over you. I'm over you, so over you. I get over you.
Everyone got like some of the base questions sent over. I'm just going to use that as a framework. If we get stuck, then we're just going to be robotic and go past it, but the ideal, hopefully, is that, like, based on what you guys say, maybe we touch on some interesting hot buttons. So, like, if he says something that you definitely want to comment on or whatever it may be, feel free to do that. So that conversation ends up becoming a bit more organic versus just like, just going back and forth. Did you get that, Ahmed? Yeah. Okay. Like, I think that's going to be probably a better experience for everyone versus tell me about a time with Dex and yeah. Okay. Awesome. I like to shoot from the hip and keep it organic. Right? Perfect. Perfect. So we get our water. Excellent.
Please join us in the auditorium for a panel on chain finance infrastructure. Please join us in the auditorium now. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to the second panel of the BNB event. I'm super excited. As I mentioned at the top, we're going to be talking about on-chain infrastructure, and we're taking a pretty broad approach, but I'm really interesting to see kind of the different components, again, working from the back end all the way up to touching the end consumer in a variety of different ways. So with that being said, throughput in regards to public blockchain is a really big talking point right now, especially as we think about the institutionalization of on-chain finance. So more and more real-world assets, more and more tokenized stocks, et cetera, are coming on-chain. And with that, it is bringing on additional institutional users which have become accustomed to a high level of throughput and sophistication. So how do we replicate the experience that they're accustomed to on chain, and where is someone like AWS like positioning and helping themselves out, or the infrastructure providers of like blockchains and foundations? Where are you helping them out to be able to meet this growing need?
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Great question. Great to see everyone. My name is Niall Natche. I'm a global Web3 go-to-market lead at Amazon Web Services, working with customers large and small, from up-and-coming startups to the largest names in the space, right? Now, to answer the question around throughput, what started as, of course, single and double-digit transactions per second back during the early days of blockchain networks has now flourished, right? And we have networks that theoretically have hit over 6 figures in TPS. But when it comes to institutional adoption of public blockchain networks, it's more than just the transaction throughput, and it also of course, there's other implications as well, right, that we have to keep in mind. Access to blockchain data, right? When it comes to institutional trading firms, the whole concept of fair and equal transactions when it comes to trading on directly on chain, right, on blockchain networks and whatnot. And to enable that, there's several other components that we have to keep in mind, right? Wallet and custody, data and analytics, running blockchain nodes as well, whether it's RPC endpoints or validators. So at AWS, what we're primarily focused on is providing building blocks and reference architectures and prescriptive guidance for how to go about running these various workloads and building these various components on underlying AWS infrastructure so that it does meet the requirements and the standards that are set forth by larger institutions and whatnot.
Awesome. Samuel, you're going to have like almost a 180 different perspective on that, given you're now at the top end of the funnel, so to speak. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives on this as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chris. So I'm Samuel. I'm working at Genius Terminal since 2 years. Recently became CTO. And so we're focused on creating a terminal that aggregates many indexes, many aggregators, and essentially being able to access DeFi in a very easy way. Let's say to recreate sex experience on-chain. And so yeah, Genius Terminal is not known to be the most institutional product out there yet. But I do agree with what Niall said, is that I don't think TPS is that much of an issue anymore on public blockchains. But we do find the issue in different levels, which is like infrastructure, custody, how to have like custody solutions or non-custodial solutions that are like secure enough. But like on our side specifically, I think we're very bullish on privacy specifically, and we think that this is, and that might be one of the bottlenecks, being TPS and being able to do volume on-chain is not much of an issue anymore, but being able to protect the value of that volume is still an issue.
I think that's a really great component of what you're talking about and kind of how it segues into Ahmed. Like, you sit in the middle layer. So I guess if we're looking kind of like as a hamburger here, you'd be the bun, or I'm sorry, you'd be the meat here. So you sit within, you're not fully DeFi, you're not obviously building the infrastructure, you're kind of in the middle, crossing both ways with traditional finance. So privacy is obviously of importance, but also compliance is a very big issue there as well. So walk me through your perspectives on kind of maybe where you differ and where you can fit in with this particular area as well.
Yeah, I like the idea of us being the beef of the burger. I would say, WorldPay as like a payments institution, we're constantly essentially managing the funds of like some of the biggest companies around the world. So whenever you're using a credit card, whether it's in an airport or whether it's online, a lot of the times it's going through our infrastructure. Obviously, people don't want that open and transparent to the world and being able to track who's spending on what. And that's both from like a consumer individual level as well as for businesses. I mean, that's their proprietary information, especially from a financial perspective. And when we talk about on-chain and what we're doing in on-chain payments as a whole, a lot of what we're doing is enabling companies or enterprises around the world to accept digital assets as a form of currency. So it's similar to how you have like an Apple Pay or Google Pay that we would enable. We can now enable Pay by Crypto, for example. And then for merchants themselves, a lot of the funds that they're receiving, now this goes into their treasury. So instead of before where you only had fiat currencies that you could receive back from all the transactions that people were making on your website or whatever it might be, now we can offer digital assets as an alternative currency for you to accept. And then this is where it kind of gets interesting from a DeFi perspective of now that these funds are constantly being put on chain, you're a CFO, you're a treasury team, like what do you want to do with those funds? Do you want to put them into a vault that's like high yield? Do you want to be able to use it and get loans off of like the balances that you're holding? Do you want to go stake it on something like a BNB and sort of run like your own sort of portfolio strategy with your float? So that's sort of how we see ourselves, as this bridge. So getting funds on chain in a more natural, sort of consistent way, and then partnering with organizations that can offer merchants like enterprise grade yield type products or DeFi oriented products that optimize what they want to do from a financial perspective.
Excellent. What would you say, let's just work in reverse, what would you say are the top, I don't know, maybe requests from the non-DeFi natives that are maybe looking to tap into some of the services and benefits that DeFi provides, and also vice versa as well? So you listed a few things, but I wasn't sure if anything maybe floats to the top, and trying to tease out maybe the difference in user profiles there.
Yeah, and it's a great question because it's also has changed over time. So I would say initially a lot of it was, I just want access to certain types of assets, which a lot of the time was, I'm a European company or an APAC-based company, I want greater exposure to dollar. And that sort of was like all they needed. And then you kind of have this new idea of the yield component. How can I make my capital work for me at all times? How can I not be constrained by things like banking hours or settlement windows and settlement times and settlement lags? Can I immediately receive the funds that my customers are paying? So I would say a lot of the demand is still centered around asset exposure, and it's just easier sometimes with capital controls to get access through DeFi. The yield component, where you can get immediate access to yield instead of having to wait, and then a speed component of how quickly can I receive my funds. From a capital efficiency standpoint, I would say is like the third leg of what's the demand for these types of products from, I would call them like non-DeFi native companies, which are the vast majority of who we support.
Okay. Samuel, maybe we double click on the DeFi side here to break down maybe the different user profiles that you're seeing and the different demands based upon, you know, I don't know, again, like what is coming from, you know, onboarding users, but then more than that, the existing people that you have that are hardcore traders or looking for yield or whatever it may be. I know Genius offers a really broad suite, so I would love to kind of peel back a few layers of the onion to see if there's anything that kind of sticks out from that class.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very interesting question, because I think that specific user profiling question is kind of what defined where we're going today. Genius has not always been the terminal it is today, meaning a terminal that is going to aim toward sophisticated traders or sophisticated retail. Initially, we tried to build it as an abstracted platform, a platform where any retail user that has no blockchain or Web3 experience whatsoever could perform trades, could trade on chain, etc. And I think we've seen that there is some complexity in doing that, and there's a lot of education that needs to be done also targeting this front directly. So we actually decided to do maybe the other way around and essentially move toward a more sophisticated retail, sophisticated trader user base, and maybe essentially going toward an abstraction of the complexity of DeFi usage, like as the product evolves, essentially. And so, like we are trying to reduce the gap that we have between DEXs and sexes. And so today, our DeFi users, what they're looking for, I think they're still looking for all the flexibility that they have when using DEXs. Flexibility that they have when they're using essentially on-chain, when they're using blockchain rather than using like central exchanges.
Okay. Now, would you confirm kind of like the difference in perspectives you've seen?
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to share my insights over here. So one thing that is beginning to stand out to me is that we've essentially officially crossed the chasm from the early days of Web3, right? Where a lot of the conversations that at least I was having with our customers, they were happening with Web3 natives, right? And that has completely changed. now a lot of my conversations are happening with fintechs, right, with global financial institutions, with banks and whatnot, and they're starting to lean in very heavily. They have their own strategies, right, their own roadmaps for how they plan on perhaps integrating with Web3. Of course, the obvious thing here is stablecoin integration, and then some are thinking even beyond that, right? They're starting to look at DeFi. Now that we're starting to see specific non-Web3 native assets being tokenized, like equities, for example. And I know recently, right, XStocks launched on BNB Chain. It's available on PancakeSwap and several other chains as well. That's now starting to be picked up, right, by several fintechs and whatnot that might want to perhaps give their customer base exposure to these new assets that now live on chain, right? So there's a lot of excitement. However, at the same time, it is very complex still building Web3 solutions and products. So in a lot of these conversations, while there is a ton of excitement to go about integrating, a lot of these non-Web3 natives, they very quickly realize that, you know what, there are so many different components that are involved in a full stack application, whether it's building a tokenization application, whether it's just integrating with an existing DeFi protocol. And that's where they, of course, start asking for partner solutions as well. And this is where companies, right, like WorldPay, for example, or several of the partners that we have available through the AWS Marketplace and Partner Network comes in, and they make it easier, right, for people to build these really complex Web3 applications that have all these components, from wallet and custody to, again, Web3 data needs, and several other things right across the stack.
Excellent. So you had mentioned a couple of hot button topics there. So stablecoin settlement with DeFi execution, but more than that, some of the assets that now are being available on DeFi more readily. You mentioned XStocks. Based on what you're seeing, are there areas of opportunity that maybe aren't being addressed currently by existing players, existing projects? Because like as you build, you know, there's more bottlenecks that kind of come up, which creates an additional area of opportunity for projects or entrepreneurs to come in and solve said issue or bottleneck. So have you seen anything like that on your side to date? If so, like what is that particular area? Just curious, won't hold you to this at all.
So I would say the crux of the issue right now is, again, the complexity, right, in building these deep integrations with the DeFi space. Of course, stablecoins are great, right? They enable near instant settlement and whatnot, 24/7 cross-border payments and whatnot. However, I think the exciting stuff happens in the DeFi space, right? Where programmability comes in, where you could leverage smart contracts for all sorts of use cases, right? Whether it's payroll, whether it's building traditional financial flows on chain, right? Accounts payable, accounts receivable types of stuff. So I think once the complexity gets broken down a little bit, I think we're going to see some pretty novel use cases being developed. Sure, it might be very translational innovation initially, but eventually we'll start seeing more novel use cases come to light as well.
Excellent. Samuel, your thoughts based on what you've seen? Any interesting opportunities that potentially could be addressed in the market?
Yeah, so I think we're seeing a lot of gaps in the execution layer specifically, and more specifically on the spreads that you find in pricing between what you have on DEXs and centralized exchanges. And so that's a gap that is being solved right now, and that was kind of like partially solved on Solana, thanks to like proprietary AMMs. And that's something that's slowly coming to EVM, and that's something we're also very bullish on, specifically on BNB, where essentially like market makers can like have proprietary pricing and propose like tighter spreads, etc. And so yeah, that's a gap which currently is not yet solved, but it's I think being solved on EVM blockchains, and that is very interesting.
Ahmed?
I'm going to take it from a payments angle. I think today, when you think of like how most people transact, it's like with a credit card. And a lot of people in the space think you can replace that with like a peer-to-peer digital asset or stablecoin. The thing is, when you think about a credit card, it's not just like a payment tool. It offers you a lot of like consumer protections. It offers you credit, all sort of embedded within one thing that you're using to make a transaction. When I think about stablecoins today, they don't have a lot of that functionality that a traditional like payment method can offer, and why a lot of consumers rely on this to kind of go about their daily sort of consumption, transactions, businesses the same. So I think in terms of like a gap, I think creating those analogs between what exists in the traditional payment world, but for an on-chain environment where you get the benefits of finality and sort of real-time transactions, but then also the protections that are typically offered by like a centralized institution. Bridging that gap, I think, creates a really powerful dynamic and tool for consumers, businesses, et cetera. And I know there's a lot of projects and companies trying to address this, but it's not there yet. So I would say that's definitely a space that if you're building a company today or expanding your product, especially within the payments orientation, like where I would see a lot of benefit to the overall ecosystems.
So I know you had mentioned it earlier, and maybe quickly we can try to run back the gauntlet. So from that perspective, where does privacy still fit in there? Like it seems like that's a very critical component as we talk about protections, but it's still an on-chain feel, like it still has all the efficiencies of on-chain, but with an off-chain feel and user flow with protections, but at the same time, there needs to be privacy associated with it that is still compliant. So there's a couple of moving pieces within there, and I'd be curious to get your perspective on what you've seen and how they can fit together.
Yeah, and it's constantly evolving, especially with, again, like AI payments or agentic sort of commerce, where in those use cases, you're not a human necessarily initiating those types of transactions. So having privacy fully embedded as part of those flows, to me, makes a lot of sense, just because there's no real advantage for that to be open unless you're making a particular decision on it. The more complicated one is like you as an individual who are making manual payments, how do you bridge that off-chain to on-chain privacy component? It's a lot of different strategies I've seen, both on like the network level with like payment-specific chains, and then now like at the protocol or application level where they obfuscate like payments in batches. I would say they all serve the similar purpose. I would say privacy now is becoming kind of ubiquitous as like an offering in any case. But I mean, I have a good friend that, like, for example, like Hinkle protocol that like is specifically just focusing on how do they obfuscate transactions that are on chain. So I think like companies like that and protocols like that make a big difference, as well as the upgrades that you're seeing at the network level, whether it's BNB or on the exchange level, where when you're making transactions and using these applications, already obfuscating sort of what's occurring. But yeah, privacy is super important. Obviously, with a lot of exploitations that are going on these days, like data becomes hyper important to protect. Yeah.
Samuel?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. I like that you mentioned Ingo, because that's also like a protocol I really like and I'm really interested in. But yeah, I don't think that, I mean, especially today, privacy and compliance are like a way. I think they're kind of matching together. But I think, I mean, on our side, what we're seeing at Genius, what's really complicated with privacy right now is to be able to tap into the existing liquidity in DeFi. Meaning that now, as Ahmed said, you have like privacy blockchain, you have like privacy tokens, etc. But like those have their own set of liquidity, and so being able to tap into the liquidity is complicated. And so in the context of a terminal like ours, we cannot. Essentially, we have to be able to use the existing liquidity in DeFi, and so we have to like kind of be creative in the kind of like privacy solutions we're using there. But essentially, it's like compliance is not an option. We can build now like privacy on-chain with compliance. And I think on our case, we do that by having like main accounts and like trading accounts that are like segregated, but auditable. And so I think that's the main difference, that publicly we can remain private while having like an auditable trail on our platform.
Niall, your thoughts to kind of conclude up the panel.
Yeah, for sure. So one metric that I try to track pretty regularly is the trading volume between centralized and decentralized exchanges, right? And it has been trending upwards over the past several months. So naturally, I go into these conversations with large institutional trading firms, high-frequency traders, market makers, and whatnot, and we do ask them, right, how much % of what you do is happening on-chain versus on centralized venues. And it looks like it is starting to pick up, right, amongst this particular demographic. And then when we ask them about, well, what are some of the blockers, right, that prevents you from essentially increasing how much volume they're transacting on-chain, privacy is one of those things that comes up pretty often, right? And we're starting to see a lot of novel ways that several platforms are trying to tackle this situation, right? To help these traders mask orders, right? Or prevent them from getting hit with front-running attacks or MEV-bot attacks and whatnot. I think Genius is a great example, right? Their recent Ghost feature, fragmenting transactions across multiple wallet clusters. We're seeing a lot happening at the underlying blockchain protocol level as well, right? Using zero-knowledge proofs. At AWS, we provide a lot of high-performance compute that makes it possible to run these ZK provers and whatnot. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the space, and I'm pretty sure we'll start seeing some the situation, right, being solved in again, new exciting ways going forward.
All right, super interesting. I mean, I learned a lot, and furthermore, it's made me even more bullish on like the full stack of on-chain finance from top to bottom. There's the opportunity is endless, and I think from what I've heard from all the panelists is that like we're just scratching the surface with like just bringing things in DeFi like into, I won't say the 21st century, but the opportunity set in the white space to design is really wide open. And with builders like yourselves, I'm really, really encouraged to see like what those next sets of opportunities, but also products are going to spin out from this as well. So Niall, Samuel, Ahmed, I really appreciate you guys being up here on the panel with me and gracing us with your knowledge. So much appreciated. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. Yeah, do a picture. Oh, yeah, there is a group photo after, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll announce the result of the demo just after the group picture. Yeah.
Feel this connection to you. Don't miss the bus. Don't miss the stop for someone else. You know my love won't wait all night. You know my love won't wait all night. You know my love won't wait all night. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
So, for the result now of the hackathon, the BNB hack, so the judges grade all projects, and so the winner is Credence. So congratulations. If you want to come on stage, can come on stage. Congrats. Oh, yes. Yeah, Credence first project. So congrats. So you're winning 5K in prize, and you're also winning a fast track for easy residency. So we'll have the Labs team contacting you. So you will get an interview with them. So congratulations. We really liked your project. The judge really liked your project. So if you want to say a few words, yeah.
I don't really have anything to say. Thank you for coming. It's been a great day here. I mean, the other two projects, great job, guys. I really liked watching your demos. I took a look at both your burritos online too. So those were awesome projects too, and hopefully keep in touch with you guys. I'm really looking forward to talking to the Easy Labs team and continuing with Credence.
Perfect, thanks a lot. So second place we had the Dojo, and in third place we had Messier. Thanks a lot, guys, for participating. So we're winning like respectively 3 and 2K. So congrats and thanks a lot again. So now we will have the happy hour. So we will just open the curtain here, and you will be able to go there directly in the patio. So thanks a lot, everyone. Really appreciating you attending today. I hope you also enjoy like a demo and panels, and we hope to see you soon for the next BNB event. Yeah, can I have the hackers coming here for a group photo?